Greetings, YouTube. As I mentioned in a previous video, recently Ron DeSantis had his political pee-pee slapped by a judge in Florida when he struck down part of the law that uh, uh, DeSantis had just signed in. A federal judge blocked parts of Florida's new law prohibiting hormone treatments for trans minors. Judge Robert Hinkle said gender identity is real and endorsed medical treatments for trans kids. The ruling is temporary victory for civil rights groups, but the broader law remains in effect. So remember that the fascists are going after the politically weakest group because that is the easiest target. And once they can establish that it's okay to demonize this incredibly small group of people, trans community, they will then use that as a building block to go after a broader group, like the entire LGBT community, not just the Tea Party. And then they'll take that even further, going after any kind of progressive movements, going after minority groups of any stripe, whether it be ethnicity or religion or political affiliation. They'll just continue to grow because that is what they do. It's all about the consumption of people's lives to fuel their journey towards greater and greater power. They will gladly throw you into the mill and grind you into a fine paste if it means it furthers their cause. And Ron DeSantis has shown that he is more than willing to jeopardize the health and well-being of children because he doesn't think of them as people because they're not just like him. And he thinks the same thing about gay people. He thinks the same thing about progressive people or black or brown people. His recent decisions in Florida to say we don't want any undocumented workers, and suddenly there aren't any undocumented workers in Florida to do all the things that undocumented workers were doing for the last 100 years. And that's having a massive impact on the state of Florida, which, while I feel bad for those blue-collar workers such as myself who are suffering because of it, it makes me smile, and I hope DeSantis is feeling that right where it counts in his pocketbook from the folks that are not going to be donating to him because their businesses are being harmed by his stupid ideas. DeSantis is dangerous, don't get me wrong. He is evil, he is dangerous, he is an opportunist. He will do anything to get power. He does not care how high the pile of bodies is that he stands on. He will just continue to completely climb that ladder, that pile of bodies to the top. If it gets him to the presidency, he doesn't care if he's standing up there at the podium covered in blood and viscera, as long as it is the blood and viscera of those he doesn't like. He is a fascist, evil man, and we need to eliminate folks like this politically. We need to neutralize them. We need to take the same stance that the United States had in the 1940s when it came to fascists. We had a really good policy in the 1940s when it came to fascists. We did a really good job of eliminating their public speech. We were able to curtail their dangerous actions and minimize the harm they did to the world. Alfred Hitchcock once said that the best cure for fascism is a particular pill that he showed on screen, and he held it up like this, and he said, and here's the applicator, when he took out a pistol and a revolver, and he loaded the revolver with the pill in question. That is the best method for taking on Nazis, and that's pretty much what Ron DeSantis is at this point. Now, I'm not endorsing actually shooting the guy, but I would love to see him politically destroyed. I would love to see him crying, weeping in the streets. And this particular little action by this judge is a small victory. It is a small wound. Now, DeSantis is going to blow this all out of proportion and tell people how it's a horrible overreach of the judicial branch, the yada yada yada. He only says this when things work against him, when the judicial branch is backing him up and helping to harm people, potentially putting their lives at risk, even pushing them to the brink of death. He's okay with that. But when somebody pushes back against him, then he's going to act like, somebody just, shot his dog. But he'd be okay with shooting someone else's dog as long as it got him elected. So, yeah, He's evil, and this is a small victory, but we'll take what we can get right now, because right now the fascists are on the march, and we need to eliminate them. And if it means making them weep and cry because they don't succeed, well, let's all make them weep and cry.